Welcome to the channel, Mystic Echoes. The Maesters' Deception, Laynoor Velaryon's Hidden Story. In Part 2, we dug into how Archmaester Gyldayn messed with history to make it seem like House Hightower was the hero and Daemon was this power-hungry maniac. And get this, he even tried to claim that Jace, Luke, and Joff aren't really part of the Baratheon family. What's up with that? Let's dive into Laynoor's love life, specifically his interest in Marilda, the shipwright's daughter. Interestingly, Gyldayn didn't spill the details until the Red Sowing. Now, before we get into Marilda's deets, let's touch on Laynoor's rumored love interest according to Gyldayn. Ser Joffrey Lonmouth, the knight from House Lonmouth, was initially introduced at Laynoor's wedding as the groom's favorite, suggesting a romantic link with Laynoor. Gyldayn's introduction is a bit messy. Gyldayn mentions Laynoor handing over his garter to the Knight of Kisses, but how does anyone know that Joffrey wore Laynoor's garter? Did Laynoor and Rhaenyra drop their pants or skirts in public, remove their garters in front of everyone, and then give them to Ser Joffrey and Ser Harwin as a token of favor? That doesn't seem likely. Anyway, wedding celebrations usually happen after the ceremony, and men typically tear off the bride's dress during the bedding ceremony. So, Joffrey and Harwin could have torn off Rhaenyra's garter during that part of the ceremony. Right after Ser Joffrey's introduction, just 5 lines later, Gyldayn writes about Joffrey's death at the hands of Ser Criston Cole. Accidents do happen in tournaments, and Cole was using a flail, a rarely used and imprecise weapon. Not many fighters know how to deal with a flail, and Joffrey, likely an inexperienced 20-year-old fighter, meets a tragic and unsurprising end. However, Gyldayn claims Cole intentionally wounded Joffrey. Gyldayn even states that King Viserys was furious, but then Viserys appointed Cole as his wife's personal protector right after Rhaenyra's wedding. So, was King Viserys angry or not? Anyway, after this event, we don't hear about Criston and his favorite fail. Maybe Criston accidentally killed Joffrey, felt bad about it, and decided not to use fail in battles. Joffrey dies 6 days later without regaining consciousness, and that's the extent of the information we have about Joffrey. According to Mushroom, the feeble-minded source, Laynoor spends every hour of those 6 days at Joffrey's bedside. Gyldayn attempts to make readers assume that Laynoor and Joffrey are lovers, suggesting that Laynoor did not consummate his marriage to Rhaenyra. I'm calling this nonsense. Ser Qarl Correy was introduced as Laynoor's new favorite. Well, that's the fancy way of saying new romantic partner. He was only mentioned 5 times, and we almost know nothing about him. According to Mushroom, Qarl often shared a bed with Laynoor and Rhaenyra. Several years later, like more than 6 or 7 years, Qarl kills Laynoor, supposedly paid by Prince Daemon, and flees Driftmark on a ship. Gyldayn says Qarl has a money problem, so he killed Laynoor for gold. All this information we have is from Mushroom and Mushroom alone, which is questionable at best. Considerably, the death of Laynoor worked very well for House Hightower. I think House Hightower murdered Laynoor and put the blame on Daemon. Back to Marilda, though. Gyldayn keeps us in suspense until the Red Sowing, so stay tuned for that juicy chapter. That concludes this video. In the next installment, we will delve into the story of Laynoor's lover, Marilda, and re-examine Laynoor's life.